A lot of people are products of their environment, but they don't realize that the environment should not control you to want to stay into that environment. I'm gonna tell you this, some of the greatest people I have ever met and the most articulate people who can articulate their way with their actions. Because some people can articulate themselves with words, but some people can articulate themselves with actions. They won't say a word, but their action says every bit that they're gonna make it. They're gonna do better, right? When you look at certain people like that, these people, they come along, a lot of family don't like it because they've been so stuck in this situation. A pig only knows to waddle in mud because it was taught to what? Waddle in mud. A lion from a young age, they know how to hunt. They know what they like to eat already. It's in their nature. It's who they are. So a lot of things that you see with people, it's in their nature. It's encrypted in their DNA now. I think a lot of people are haters, and it's in their DNA. They're jealous.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. I got some stories today, man. I'm asking this question, everybody. Is blood thicker than water? I'm actually on my live right now. Let's get engaged. Is blood thicker than water? Is blood thicker than water? There's a reason why I'm asking this question. Because it seems like I've noticed in most cases, from what I'm experiencing, people that are striving for their greater selves tend to have the most problems with their families because they're trying to break generational curse. They're trying to break generational trauma. They're trying to break things that your family has never reached these thresholds. So therefore, someone came along and said, I want to recreate the structure, the foundation, the belief systems of our family. So I'm asking this question, is blood thicker than water? Because it seems like a lot of the cases that the people that tend to want to elevate, they're having problems with their blood. The relatives, the people that they call family. I'm seeing that this is a constant battle. It's the rivalry against each other that people are jealous of each other. I've noticed that there are people who are holding back people in their own families when they don't want to see that person that you're trying to stop, they're the black sheep. And I'm gonna tell you something about the black sheep. The black sheep of the family comes along to change everything in the family. The black sheep is the one that tends to go against the social, the economical, and the mental norms of your family, right? Those are the people that say enough is enough. Those are the people that say, yo, me fighting with you don't make sense. Why are the broke fighting against the broke? We gotta figure out how to get rich. Those are the people that say, I wanna educate myself. Those are the people that say, I wanna learn and undigest the bad habits that I've learned. Because again, in order to learn, you have to unlearn. So in the process of learning, you have to be willing to unlearn. A lot of the habits that you see, humans are naturally creatures of habit. So the habits that you see, we've been accustomed to, behavior patterns. A lot of people don't see that they need to undigest their old behaviors because it's a normality. And if you don't change your normalities, you're gonna ultimately push the same characteristics on the next generation. I realize that we're a culture of bleeding on to the next generation. Our behavior patterns. When you see a parent, a lot of times, right? The kids are so materialistic, but where do they get these behavior patterns from? Somebody taught them how to be materialistic, right? Someone made that child feel less than if they didn't go to school with materialistically expensive things. Jordans. You got a kid with the same number in his classroom as Jordan's jersey number. He has a 23 average in school, and he has on a damn pair of Jordans. He has a 23 average, and he's walking around with some damn Jordans. So I'm asking, what is these norms? Why don't we undigest our old behaviors? But the black sheep that come along, who realizes that they want to do things, they want to elevate their family. You know what they say? They say a family that prays together stays together, and a lot of families don't pray together. That's why a lot of us don't stay together. A lot of us are rebellious against each other. We're fighting a poor fight. The other day I decided, one of my guys told me the other day, he said every so often, every 2-3 months, he does a dinner where he brings a chef over to his house. He has a chef cook, and his family has to sit down and eat dinner. He said, why do you only allow society to tell you that you're only supposed to have a big family feast? It's Thanksgiving. He said, why don't you celebrate that way in this together? He said, why don't you create your own holidays? He said, your family can create holidays in your home and traditions in your home that can become normality. I think a lot of people haven't learned any new behaviors because we continuously bringing on the old behaviors. They said when in Rome, act like the Romans, but some people got to get out of Rome. We got to get out of our weirdness. They say it's blood thicker than water, but as I said before, a lot of times we're climbing, you're going to see that the person that's pulling for your feet, they look just like you. They carry your last names. And the sad part is, y'all might be blood related. The people that pull for your legs are the people that you trust the most, because the only person that could truly hurt you is someone you truly love and who knows you. They know you. So I'm asking this question, is blood thicker than water? I realize that in life, sometimes you have to go out of your family and create your family. Because reality is, you cannot bring people along the journey who don't want to change their ways. There are some people that are so complacent with who they were, they can't see themselves becoming anyone else. Some people have avoided the mirror for so long that they can tell you everything and every blemish that's on your face, but they can't see themselves. Some people are literally walking contradictions when it comes to themselves. They're walking contradictions. They will tell you what you should and what you shouldn't be doing, but they cannot choose to do what they're telling you should do. It's funny when someone telling you to save that wastes all their resources. I had a conversation with a guy the other day, and while we were in the shop, we were talking, and he said to me, "What's changed in you?" I said, I started loving people that know how to love me. Because if someone loves you, right, they'll spend time to learn how to love you. Because again, you cannot give me the love that I don't feel loved by. For instance, if my love language is words of affirmation, of course I'm going to naturally gravitate to anyone that's loving me the way I feel like I should be loved. If a person needs time, right, that person will naturally gravitate to someone. That's why you can meet a woman right now, right, who could be in a full-fledged relationship, and she ended up meeting another guy, and then you wonder why she stepped out on that guy with this new guy, and vice versa for a man. The reason being is because, let's just say hypothetically, the man gave her everything she wanted, but he didn't give her any time. And her love language is time. So therefore, she never felt loved. So in your mind, I'm giving you the better life. I'm giving you the nice house. I'm giving you the nice cars. I'm giving you trips and food and eating out and all of these things. But she still didn't feel love because her love language is time. That's what I'm seeing in our families. A lot of us are literally walking around with generational trauma that we can't see that's abnormal. Right, let me say that again. A lot of us are walking around with generational trauma that we can't see as abnormal. I'll give you some of the generational traumas that a lot of us have. Naturally, I believe that a man was supposed to have a multitude of women because the men I was around, they told me that a man that didn't have a multitude of women wasn't a man. So therefore, me trying to prove my masculinity, what did I do? I felt like I needed a multitude of women to feel like I was a man. So if you take a young, impressionable mind, you keep force-feeding it a belief, a thought, a way of life, the young mind will gravitate to the belief, and it will normalize the belief to the point where the belief becomes normal. And they see nothing abnormal about the belief because this is what they were taught. You told this young man that you're not man enough unless you have a multitude of women. Therefore, this young man believes that he is not a man until he learns how to what? Get a multitude of women. So therefore, every time he steps in the world, he's looking to be what? Validated by having a multitude of women because he says that this means manhood. I'll give you another one. There are women who believe that men are supposed to pay for everything for them because someone, maybe a broken mother, said something like, hey, real men pay for everything. But your mother never had the man that she told you that a man is. She never could find him, but she told you what a man is. And you took this belief as a young age. You've been constantly reminded that a real woman needs a man that takes care of everything. So you never validate or respect a man. Why? Because of the fact that you were taught that a man pays for everything. And this is generational trauma. I'll give you another one. You take a young woman who disrespects men, right? Mommy did what? Disrespect men. You ever met a young woman who says something like, she's young, let's say hypothetically she's 16 years old. She says that man ain't about nothing. What do you know about relationships to the point where at 16 you lost all hope in men? Where did you get that belief? Where did you get that thought? Where did you get that ideology? Where did your mentality gravitate towards a lack of experience? Therefore, someone else gave you their experience because you inherited something called generational trauma. I'll give you another one. A young man takes all his resources, run to a relationship, waste all his resources, thinking that this is what make me a man. Because society says that what? A man is only a man if he can what? Spend money. So therefore the young man believes that he is a man because society tells him that he is not a man and if he don't spend all his resources on a woman. And how can you build when there's nothing and you don't even have the land to build on? You can't build, young men and women, if you don't even buy the land to build on. How are you gonna build a foundation when you never even bought the land? Then we got another, let's go furthering. One of the guys I talked to one time was mad at his mother for being a heroin addict, but he was a marijuana addict. So I said, you just have two different vices, but both of y'all are addicts. Both of y'all are addicts. But your vice of choice is what? Marijuana. Your mother's vice of choice is what? Heroin. But at the end of the day, y'all both have bad vices because substance abuse is substance abuse, no matter how you want to articulate it. There are people right now who are fighting with their family for things that may have transpired when they were children. There are siblings and cousins who inherited their mother's beef. Let me say that again. There are siblings and cousins and family members who inherited their aunts and their mother's belief, their beef. I'm gonna say that, I want y'all to hear this good. You have an aunt. You have an aunt. And between the aunt is two children. These two children don't get along, you know why? Because they inherited their mother's beef. Their mothers couldn't get along, so guess what? They talk bad about each other. I think one of the most miserable things I've ever seen in my life is people talk bad about people. It says a lot about you when you feel the need to wake up and talk about people. That means you are miserable because your tongue reflects how you feel about yourself. When your tongue is as sharp as a sword, it's because your mind is as weak as putty. When your tongue is as sharp as a sword, it's because your mind is as weak as putty. Because the reality is, a person that is comfortable with themselves cannot see themselves making someone or misery don't love company when the person is not miserable. Misery only loves company when a person is miserable. But when a person isn't miserable, they tell everyone else to what? Go home. Exit stage left. Because when you're not miserable, you don't need to be around misery. When you're happy, all you want to do is what? Project happiness. It takes a very sick mentality to believe that you are going to talk negative about the world, but you're going to receive great things. It takes a sick mentality to believe that you can project negative energy to the universe, but you're going to attract positive energy. Listen, ooh. Listen to that statement. I'm going to project negative energy, but I'm going to attract positive energy. Say it with me, Kenzie. I'm going to project negative energy, but I'm going to attract positive energy. Where the hell does that make sense at? Listen, you're trying to redefine the laws of life. The laws of life was created before we even became on earth. The world has the universal law. Universal law is you are what you attract. So if you bringing on all these girls are bums, it's because you may be a bum psychologically. And there are people that have jobs and that have money saved, but they still think like a bum. There are people who go to work every day, but they still have a bum-like mentality. So you still may be attracting exactly what you are. So when some people say things like, oh, there's only bad women out here, I said, brother, because you are attracting you. This is how you subconsciously feel about yourself. When you feel the need to talk about others to make you feel greater, it's because you don't really feel greater. You don't feel greater. You don't feel greater. Think about it. When you feel the need to talk about others to make you feel better, it's because you don't love yourself. The other day, a guy said to me, you're a little too happy for me. I said, why? He said, because you be always happy. I said, I wake up every day, let me say this on record, and make a conscious choice to make myself happy. I wake up every day and laugh because I realize it takes more energy to be angry. I wake up every day and smile because it takes more energy to make a frown. I wake up every day and giggle because I realize that my misery can be contagious to others. And sometimes what you're going through, when you make it all about you, you'll realize that the world is not all about you. The world is actually bigger than you. But the problem is, look at this logic, and I'm gonna give you an analogy. You take a person who goes in their refrigerator, when they open the refrigerator, is a refrigerator full of food. They're wondering what they want to eat tonight. The person that has that situation wakes up to this, acts like the same person who goes in the refrigerator and there's no food in the refrigerator. That person's wondering how they're gonna eat, you wondering what you're gonna eat, and you act like you have the same identical struggles because you're so selfish. Look at that, come on kids, look at that narrative. You open the refrigerator, you walk in the refrigerator, and there's a refrigerator full of food. You don't feel like cooking nothing, so you complain about your life. Oh my God, there's never no food in the house, right? Then there's a person that opens the fridge, and there's absolutely nothing in the fridge, and you act like you have the same identical circumstances. When a person travels outside of America, they'll see you not broke, you just bad with money. Let me say that again. When a person travels outside of America, they'll realize that they're not broke, they just bad with money. You're just horrible with money. Call a spade a spade. Because I'm gonna tell you something, in this great land of America that we talk bad about all the time, you have more opportunities here than anywhere else. Believe you me, I've seen people come to America with a bag and leave with the bag. They came with a bag and left with the bag. Literally. But I'm asking my question. Is blood thicker than water? I'm gonna tell you something. Everyone roots for you when you're winning, but the same people won't root for you when you're losing. I believe family are the people that was rooting for you, staying in the trenches with you when things weren't going good. I've learned that there's so many people that turn their back on you when you would have never turned your back on them when things were good. I realized that people run when a storm comes. And some people make sure everybody let's get up out of here together. It's easy to celebrate a victory when you ain't done nothing to win. But when you gotta put in the work when things are not going well, then we get to see who you are in your true colors. Because even a coward smiles when they're winning. Even a coward smiles when they're winning. Even a coward celebrates when they're winning. But it takes a real true champion to celebrate your losses the same way you celebrate your wins. Because everyone knows you will pass losing on your way to success. It is impossible to win without facing losing. It comes with the territory. You have to pass losing to win. It's sad because most people don't understand. They're so hard on themselves, but they don't realize that this is how the world operates, it's universal law. You have to lose, because how do you know what a victory tastes like if you never taste the L? How do you know you can fight if you've never been punched in the mouth? When you punch in a bag right in the gym, you look like a super boxer. But when somebody hits you, you realize you can't fight. Everyone looks like they're doing well. Everyone looks like they're winning. I think the reasoning why most black culture is failing is because of our family structures. Our family structures. We have inherited beef. We have inherited trauma. We have inherited drama, right? You're sitting there like, I don't mess with that side of the family. Then when I ask you why, you can't even explain. I don't mess with that side of my family. Why? I don't know. My mom just said, years ago, we didn't go over their house. Maybe your mama was the problem. You think your mother gonna sit there and tell you she was the problem? It is easy to point the finger when you don't realize the three is being pointed back at you. It's easy to talk about what others are doing, and it's harder to look at what you ain't doing. I've come to the conclusion that this title that we use, called blood, we need to reevaluate what it is. Because I genuinely believe that family is a group of individuals who share collective thoughts, beliefs, religion, lifestyle choices, and definitely support each other. I had to learn years ago that blood is not always thicker than water. And a lot of times people want to be your blood and related to you when you're losing. I don't see no one sitting around bragging about the dude that's losing. But when that loser starts winning, everyone wants to resurface and say, oh, that's my cousin. Oh, that's my brother. Oh, I grew up with that person. But I'm gonna tell you, there's a word that is deeper than blood. It's called support. That person that you say you call family, I love you. Have you ever supported that person? I know people who they will hurt their thumbs, right? Just to write under a celebrity's page, but they won't press one thumb when it comes to sharing on your videos. Let me say that again. I know people who will hurt their thumbs to comment on a celebrity's post. Oh, Beyonce, I love you in that dress. Beyonce don't give a damn, she don't see you. You told Mariah Carey, happy birthday. You told Lil Baby, you better than Boosie. You think they care? You think they see these things? But the people that you can support, you wouldn't even write a good morning to them. GM, we shorten it for you. GM, send. Whoop. You ain't gonna do that. Because you know why? I genuinely feel like this, and somebody gonna get mad, but I don't give a damn. I don't care no more. It is what it is. Call me Mr. Diabolical, right? I genuinely believe that black culture are nervous when it comes to supporting other people because they feel like that person is gonna take the spot that they never even had. Let me say that again. I genuinely believe that a lot of people in black culture has a mentality that they don't like to support others because they feel like they're gonna lose their spot. I'm gonna tell you something about God. If he pours into my cup, what he does is he fills up my cup, he puts another cup next to my cup so my cup can run over into their cup. And then when that person starts filling up, he puts another cup next to that cup, and guess what happens? That cup fills up that cup, and he continues the process. So therefore, when my cup never empties, because why? He's constantly refilling and replenishing my cup. But a lot of people don't think like that. They think I can't support you because if I support you, guess what? It's gonna take away from what you don't even have. You're taking away from what you don't even have. I ain't supporting her because you a hater. You are a whole hater. Because again, the same way you could say, Mary J. Blige, happy birthday, is the same way you should have told your little cousin good morning. When the last time someone went to their siblings or their family members and said, I'm proud of you. I love you. Keep going. And the saddest part is the people that don't know your whole story will hate you because of the fact that you've written chapters that they weren't a part of. Let me say that again. The people in your family that will hate you, OD, and the friends and the people that grew up with you, the reason why they'll hate you is because you were able to write chapters in your book that they weren't a part of, and guess what? They thought that you couldn't write them chapters. That's why. You're mad because this person was able to write chapters that you didn't believe they could write. And not only that, the chapters of their book became a motion picture. It became, say it again? Without you. That's the issue. We get so caught up in this crab in the barrel mentality, we don't realize that Your mindset determines your outcome on life, and the way you think about others is how you reflect and project yourself. It took me years to learn that the world wasn't hard on me, I wasn't hard enough on myself. Because I wanted everything to just fall in line and be the way I wanted to be. But when I realized that the things aren't happening to me, they're starting to happen for me, I had to realize in order for me to win, I have to go through this journey, this process. I'm gonna tell you something, the one thing about going through a forest, you know this? And I want y'all to hear this good. When you're walking through a forest, there is no trail, you create your own trail. And the thing about it is, when you're going through the forest of life, trying to figure it out, you gotta create your own goddamn walkway. You gotta create your own route. There is no path. You gotta create it. You're cutting through the forest, make your path. Deal with it. Figure it out. Because at the end of the day, you will surpass levels that your family has never even gotten to. Because reality is God has blessed us already if you think about it. We eat at night. We sleep at night. We've seen years of life that the average person haven't seen. When you really look at it from a bigger lens and a broader lens, you realize how selfish we truly are. We want the greatest results in life, but we want it the easiest way. How diabolical is that? We want the greatest results in life, but we also want the easiest way in life. That don't even make goddamn sense. It don't even add up. But you have to be a weirdo to make your mind believe that that is normal. It's the normality of what you created to your thoughts. The foolish mind is the mind that believes that they're gonna reach $1 million status with the easiest route. Because believe you me, the person that chooses that path knows it's gonna get diabolical. It's gonna get hard. That's why it's only 1%. That's why it's only 1%. Because the reality is the average person don't have the mental fortitude to continue to go through it. They don't have the mentality to navigate the ocean that is so fierce that it's fighting against your boat. It's hitting your boat, boom, 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 boom. What do you say to yourself? I'm tired of this. I want to quit. I want to give up. And a lot of the times, some journeys that you go on, you find yourself by yourself lonely. The fear of the unknown. Because I'm gonna tell you something. When I started changing my life, I decided to go on a path that would not make sense to most people. People that was around me started looking at me like I was crazy. Because I realized what they were doing was abnormal. But when you learn and you know better, you're supposed to do better. And once I learned better, I said, I gotta do better. So I had to realize that even though you might not follow me and go sit in this class and study, I'm willing to go in this class and study because I know for a fact I'm the determining factor for my grade. Just because everybody else decided to do a senior skip day or cut day, I decided to go sit in that class because I was worried about my future. And that's what you have to be able to do. You have to, A, live above the influence. B, realize that you're not going to bring people with you on a journey they don't want to go on. They want you to go to the end of the race and guess what? And give it to them. They just pimped you. They just pimped you. Think about it. They want you to go on the journey, put in all the work, and then give them everything. They just pimped the hell out of you. They pimped you. Think about that, Dre. They pimped you. You gonna go to work and give me your whole damn check. That is diabolical. That is so diabolical. That is crazy. But again, we have a culture that whatever we think is socially normal, as long as it makes sense to us, it's supposed to make sense to everybody else. And that's where we go wrong. Because it takes a selfish mind to believe that you're gonna reach levels without meeting new devils. Listen to that statement. It takes a very selfish mind to believe that you're gonna meet new levels without meeting new devils. You might as well get used to them. You might as well get used to them. Every level you go to comes with new devils, right? Every experience you go through comes with new chapters. And a lot of times you gotta look at it like, damn, this book that's being written, I don't know where it's going, but guess what? The number one rule to any levels of success is never giving the hell up. Because I'm gonna tell you something, things starts looking clearer as you start wiping the mirror. As you start wiping your mirror and start clearing your mirror, things start making more sense. And the reason why a lot of things don't make sense is because people don't have the right people around them to make it make sense. Every person that's successful, notice this, they bring new energy around them, right? And the new energy starts making things make sense. Because look at this, if you're broke, right? If you're around everyone that's broke and you tell them $1 million dream, they don't believe in the $1 million dream because they have a dollar mindset. You cannot give $1 million dream to a dollar mindset. The mindset is ultimately gonna what? Regurgitate dollar mentalities. I don't think that could happen. This is crazy. You wasting your time. How you think you're gonna do that? Why do you think they think like that? Because they have a dollar mentality. When you have $1 million dreams, you have to go around $1 million mentality. Millionaires don't only hang out with millionaires. So whoever said that statement is capping. Millionaires hang around people who are A, millionaires, or B, people that's inspiring to be millionaires, and C, the people that have great work ethic because they re-inspire this person to continue to go. Because I'm gonna tell you something, look at this. You could be the owner of the company, come to the job, and bring a new energy into the company, and guess what? That new person just inspired your company to go to the next level. Meanwhile, you're the CEO. But why do they hire new energy every day? Because new energy brings new thoughts, new dreams, new aspirations, new goals. Right? I was talking to a guy the other day, and while we were talking, I said to him, every person plays a part in life. But the problem with some people, they want to be the main character, even though they don't want the main character results. If you're willing to be the main character, you have to look at yourself as a sacrificial lamb. Because some main characters don't make it to the end of the movie. Let me say that again. Some main characters don't make it to the end of the movie. Some main characters, right, they have to do a job, right? So they have to fill a job so others can win. So you got to understand in life, some people are made to be role players, right? If you look at life, I would rather be on the boat than not on the boat. Beanie Siegel again said what? I'm not the captain of the yacht, but I'm on the boat. I just want to be on the boat. And I realize that whatever my role is to be on this damn boat, I'm going to do it effectively and efficient. It's sad that there's somebody right now who is good at sailing the boat, right? There's another person who's good at serving the food on the boat. And the person that's serving the food on the boat want to steer the boat. Meanwhile, he's not good at steering the boat because he's jealous of the person that's good at doing a job. Yes, you're the center that want to bring the ball up the court. But the issue is when you look at stuff like that from that narrative, you'll realize that this is why a lot of families fail. You want someone to lead who's not meant to be a leader. And one thing that's great about a leader is when you realize that some people aren't leadable. That's when you become great. You got to realize that some people aren't leadable. It's not that you're not great, it's just they're not leadable. Some people aren't coachable. No matter what you say, they're going to rebel against what you're saying because they have a rebellious spirit. Some people have a rebellious spirit that no matter what you say, they cannot receive what you're telling them. So therefore, you're going to always combat your negative energy and the positive energy cannot cohabitate. A rebellious spirit naturally comes with a negative spirit. So how could a positive spirit, which is a leader, lead a rebellious spirit? The number one thing of any good person is the willingness to submit. So when people get rebellious against the word submission, it's because they're not a great leader. Because any great leader is a great follower. Because every great leader is following something. Think about that narrative. Otherwise, you're going to lead them to the darkness. Every great leader follows somebody. Every great leader follows somebody. Yeah.
I think people have a rebellious spirit. They pick and choose who to have a rebellious spirit with. You could be like a close family member, like telling them, okay, this is the blueprint, this is the plan, this could get us in a better position as a family, and they just won't listen to you, they fight back. But somebody across the street could tell them the same thing that you told them, and then be like, oh, look what this person said, they're right. But it's like you told them that the whole entire time. They just wouldn't listen to you, specifically you, for some reason.
The reason why they won't listen to you is because of the fact that they want to hear it from someone else's mouth. They just don't want to hear from you. Because again, they put a cap on you already. If their level of what they think you could reach is $50,000, they already put a cap on you. But when you telling them that $50,000 person that they put a cap on, oh, I want to be a millionaire, they already put a $50,000 cap on you. So realistically, they can't see no further because you know why? They see you as little Tyler. They don't see you as the king or the man you becoming or the man you are. Because sometimes we hold each other in a box. And when you put a person in the box, you'll realize that the surprise that's in the box is the person you ain't been listening to. The gift is the person you ain't been listening to. The gift that's in that box is that person. But you ain't been listening to that box. Right? Because you put him in that box. You put her in that box. There are people that come along in families every day that are meant to change families. They're meant to. Right? They start talking different. That's the one you can be like, oh, yeah, cornball. Yeah, cornball because he realized that this is wrong, boy. He realized this is wrong. Good.
Tell them about the story, the Malcolm X story. No, the Martin Luther, the art in the shop when you started changing and elevating your mind and how people reacted around you.
Years ago when I came home from prison, right? I started talking positive. And when I started talking positive, people started calling me like a fake Malcolm X. Yo, you think you Malcolm X? I don't think I'm Malcolm X. I just realized that God has put something on my conscience that I feel like I have to fulfill. And I think this is my purpose based on how fulfilled I feel doing it. So when I started changing and I came home, they started calling me a fake Malcolm X. So what I did was I had one of my guys, he's a tattoo artist named Tatman C's, a brother of mine. He drew a picture of Malcolm X. And when he drew the picture of Malcolm X, I put the picture on the beginning of the shop. As soon as you walk in the shop, you see Malcolm X. And the reason why I put this picture, because I wanted to remind myself every day that it's okay to be who you are. Because I'm pretty sure when people saw Malcolm X changing, they rebelled against him. They fought him for who he was becoming because they wanted him to be who he was. Because it's hard to re-fall in love with somebody after you already fell in love with who they were. It is hard to fall in love with somebody after you already fell in love with who they were. So therefore, they could not fall in love with who he was becoming because they were already in love with who he was. Because now there's no more relatability factors. I can't relate to you no more. So therefore, I hold on to what I can relate to. Meaning, when we was in 5th grade, when we used to pick our boogers, that's what I can relate to with you. Now you're talking about picking $1,000 ideas out of your brain. And I'm like, bro, I can't relate to that. So therefore, I'm going to hold on to what you was because I'm scared of what you're going to become. Because the phobia is the fear of missing out. The phobia is the fear of losing access. And a part of me feels like I'm going to lose access the more you climb. So therefore, I want you to stay here with me because I feel like I'm going to lose you. And there are a lot of people who just can't say, yo, bro, please don't forget about me. Look at that. How much would you respect that? When that person is climbing, you say, you know what? You're a better climber than me. You're a way better climber than me. You know what? You're stronger than me. Yo, just keep going, bro. Run your race, sister. Just don't forget about me. You know how much more you will respect that person? Just keep climbing. Run your race. Don't stay here and slow down for me, right? But the hood mentality is I'm going to hold you back because I don't want you to leave me. There's a song by J. Cole. J. Cole said he was telling his man how he wanted to be like him. His man was a drug dealer. And he said, if you wasn't my man right now, I think you was a clown right now. He said, because he said, where I'm going to be, I'm going to be stuck doing this forever. You going on to college and get yourself a degree and do better. Meanwhile, J. Cole at the time didn't know that he was the blessed one. He was the one that had opportunities to better his life. But his friend didn't have the opportunities because he didn't believe that he could change his life. Right?
I think some people, they shed negativity on blessed people just to cloud their mind of them realizing that they're blessed, because that person who shedding negativity, they know their situation is bad. So it's like, all right, let me project my negativity on the blessed person so he could trick himself out of his position.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that a person can be a prophet?
100%.
And what is a prophet?
A person who was sent from God.
To do what?
He has a calling over people. So whether it's to lead or something in that manner.
To deliver a message.
To deliver a message.
Right? So let me ask you a question. When you see guys like Nipsey Hussle, would you say he was a messenger?
I agree, yeah.
When you see guys like Tupac, would you say he was a messenger?
Yep.
When you see my boy Bob Anesta Marley, would you say that he was a prophet?
For sure.
Would you see Marcus Garvey as a prophet?
For sure.
These are guys that come along right, that are meant to change. But I'm pretty sure if you go sit with them same guys, they're gonna say they had rebellion. They had fights. They had wars. I remember years ago, I watched a video of Nipsey and I got to meet him. Thank God, man, one of the greatest men I ever met in my life, got to speak to. Nipsey said something like, he said the issue is, you look at our culture as ignorant, but you don't look at the environment that they created us to stay in. A lot of people are products of their environment, but they don't realize that the environment should not control you to want to stay into that environment. Some of the most, I'm gonna tell you this, some of the greatest people I have ever met and the most articulate people who can articulate their way with their actions. Because some people can articulate themselves with words, but some people can articulate themselves with actions. They won't say a word, but their action says every bit that they're gonna make it. They're gonna do better, right? When you look at certain people like that, these people, they come along, a lot of family don't like it because they've been so stuck in this situation. A pig only knows to waddle in mud because it was taught to what? Waddle in mud, right? A lion from a young age, they know how to hunt. They know what they like to eat already. It's innate nature. It's in their nature. It's who they are. So a lot of things that you see with people, it's in their nature. It's encrypted in their DNA now. I think a lot of people are haters, and it's in their DNA, right? It's in their DNA. They're jealous. I just told you, some people are cringe when they see your videos. They'll cringe. They're like, yo, that's crazy. He think he better than everybody. I'm gonna tell you something, and I want y'all to hear this good. The scariest thing is when that person that's the prophet of the family, the one that God has anointed to change the trajectory of the family, they will get the most rebellion. Remember I said this, Kenzie, and I hope you hear this good. The person that comes along to change the family, they will get the most rebellion. They'll get the most hate. They'll get the most scrutiny. They'll get the most talked about. They're gonna get the most because they're the ones that's strong enough to take it. That's the thing about them. They're the strongest ones that's able to take it and endure it, right? Sometimes you gotta look at them and say what God said, forgive them, Father, for they not know what they do. They don't know. That's why you have to have a forgiving spirit on your journey, because at the end of the day, you are, or you have vision, and your vision is clear. 2020, right? You can perfectly see life. These people cannot see. Even with glasses, they cannot see the clarity of what you see. No matter how you slice it, their mind is not projecting the thoughts that you're projecting, the beliefs, the actions, nothing. They don't think what you're thinking. They think that they're made to be in a confined environment for the rest of their lives. Some people believe that prison is a way of life. They believe it's a way of life. And you can't get mad at them because that's what they think, right? It's their nature now. Some people have been trained so long how to survive, they don't know how to live. All they know how to do is survive. It's scary when you meet people that have been trained so long how to survive that they haven't learned how to live. I think one of the scariest things is the blood is not even working together, so therefore to make the blood more clear and pure. I think all of us should do something called dialysis with our family. What is dialysis made to do? Clean the blood. So if we have to have dialysis with our families so we can clean the blood. Because a lot of people ain't cleaning the blood in their family, so that's for their blood has diseases, bacteria that's along their journey, and the struggles that they've been through, the trauma. It's a lot of issues in our family that we don't see because a lot of us don't even know. Most families, parents don't even sit you down and tell you what they've been through. I'm gonna give you a quick story. Yo, one day I bought my mother a diamond. I bought her some diamond earrings. My mother started crying. And I said to her, yo, Ma, why you crying? She said, you don't understand. I said, y'all don't understand what? What's going on? She said, you just don't understand. I'm talking about real tears. So I'm nervous. I'm like, what did I do? So I said, Ma, what's the matter? She said, a man has never bought me diamonds in my life. And at that moment, I'm probably like 30, 28 years old. I'm like, damn, in my 28 years of existing, and let's just say hypothetically, my mother's 20 years older than me, so my mother almost at 50 years old, never had a man buy her a diamond. So sometimes when you see little things like that, they're fighting their own demons themselves. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, that we're fighting our own demons. When you can get in the ring with your child and tell them, I'm fighting too. I'm going through it also. I don't feel good every day. I'm not happy all the time. Life beats me up. I think that's what happened. We stopped being human. Everyone is measured based on strength, based on not being vulnerable. But strength is actually being vulnerable. And we've been taught that vulnerability is weak, but in reality, it's actually a representation of strength. Being vulnerable by expressing yourself, being vulnerable by telling what you're going through, because it takes a strong individual to be able to express what they're going through. But I think families have been taught how to suppress emotion that comes out as anger, that comes out as rage, that comes out as frustration. That's what we've been trained to do. We're like little military warriors. We're like robots. And this is what you see. A lot of people have so much suppressed emotion that they can't even control themselves in anger. They can't even control themselves. If you paid them, they couldn't. You ever see, you get somebody mad with the littlest thing, they so snappy? That's years and years of anger. And years of anger, right? Someone call in right now, 516-253-1150. Today's topic is blood thicker than water. Yeah.
I remember growing up, and I feel like a lot of black families, when we ate dinner, we used to sit at the table. Everybody had to sit, and we all ate at one time, and it gave time to express how your day was, how everything was, and that kind of helped the families. Now I feel like now when we eat, everybody just disperses and does their own thing, and that little moment right there can really build a family or break a family.
You know why most people don't have the unity anymore? Is because we don't understand those moments of sitting there is strategically strategizing on how to beat the bills, how to beat back life, how to fight back. So when you're sitting down at the table eating dinner with your family, you're game planning for a strategy on how to beat life, how to defeat it. Because when you go sit in your room, life is beating you up. Your mother go sit in her space by herself, life is beating her up. Your sister go sit in her space, life is beating her up. Your brother go sit in his space, life is beating him up. No one said huddle. 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 Everybody bring it in. And when you bring it in, you call it audible. Tyler, you know what I need you to do? Your defender can't guard you going left. You know what I need you to do, Mom? They can't check you and guard you when you're going wide. And now we strategically have to strategize on how to beat the devil. How to beat the devil is bills. I'm gonna tell you something. Bills will literally kill your family. The number one reason for separation and divorce is finances. It's finances. It's taking the back seat. It's actually taking the front seat to cheating and adultery. It said people will more accept cheating and adultery if a person is financially stable. Right? Call a huddle. Huddle. I think a lot of families need to call a huddle, right? And sit down and have a conversation with their family. Because blood is thicker than water, but water is starting to get thicker than blood. Because the way families talk about each other and the way we don't pour back into each other is diabolical. It's sad that when I see siblings have to fight. I got a family member right now who's in court with a family member over a property, a house. You know why? Because the brother don't want to see the brother have more money than him. It's sad that the brother don't want to see the brother have more money than him. We fighting an endless battle. And I'm going to tell you something. It's weird that we bring our children into this battle. You know the nastiest things I've ever seen in my life is when a woman uses a child as a pawn against the baby father, or a man uses a child as a pawn against the child's mother. And we don't fight against that. That is sick. All you're doing is teaching your children how to what? Go create a broken home again. Because the fact that you and the mother showed that y'all could not work together to raise this child. We love this child more than we said we love ourselves. But we could not find the energy, the humbleness to say, you know what, I'm going to put my ego aside. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to work with you because guess what? Our child needs it. When a person can't do that, they're horrible parents. Horrible. We're going to call a spade a spade. If you sit here and tell me right now that you cannot work with your child's mother and you cannot work with your child's father for the love that you have for your children, you're the worst parent on earth. You're the worst. As long as that person is not to the point where they're gonna hurt you, put their hands on you, to the point where it's so toxic that your child is gonna pick up bad traits, and therefore, because again, I've met men who are horrible husbands, but they're great fathers. I met women who are horrible wives, but they're great mothers. And one of the things we got to start saying is not great is when a person they selectively choose to manipulate a child against their father or mother. Because when I was growing up, and I know y'all can all relate to this, growing up, I was always taught that you do not put a child in adult problems. You put a child in a child's place and the child stays in what? A child's place. So when an adult is choosing to bring a child into an adult problem, that adult has problems. I mean, that adult hasn't left childhood itself. Because if you can't differentiate the fact that you're an adult and that kid is a child, you already got a problem within itself. You already got a problem within yourself. Our culture needs to grow up. We need to grow up. Call in right now. Somebody call in right now. Sharika, call in. I just saw you on the live. If you're still on live, call in right now. 516-253-1150. Someone call in right now. We're talking about this topic. Is blood thicker than water? 516-253-1150. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all something. Is somebody going to get mad at this? Ladies, they have an app. It's called the T app. And I'm going to tell you something. Men, if you hear me good. If your woman has that app, she's messy. She's messy. And I'm telling you, I could never sit down and see myself sit down and write bad reviews about an ex. Like they're a restaurant. I couldn't do it. I'm not messy. You know what I'm saying? That's like, it's crazy. I've seen some of the things that these girls have shown me on this app. It's diabolical. But I realize these are messy women that like messy problems, who are miserable as hell. Because I'm gonna tell you something. A real woman wouldn't have to worry about who's trying to holler at her. Because when you're projecting good energy, you're ultimately gonna get good results. Because God gives vision and clarity so you can see anything and everything. They say, look, don't talk long enough so you can hear what they see. Because if you stay quiet long enough around somebody, it's only but so long they can hide who they are. But the more you talk, the more they can hide who they are. So if you sit back and just analyze who they are by not saying nothing, you'll learn exactly who they are. Because people can pretend to be someone they're not. But ultimately, you're going to be who you exactly are. And that's a true reality. Someone call in right now. 516-253-1150 before we get out of here today. Listen, I asked myself years ago, is blood thicker than water? And I had to learn that every person that you're related to don't mean they're your family. And let me say that again. Years ago, I had to ask myself, is blood thicker than water? And the conclusion I have come to is that just because someone may be biologically related to you, don't mean they're your family. Because if there's no loyalty, that's not family. That means you just related. And it took me a long time to realize that what I may want for a family member, they may not want for themselves. But the hardest conclusion of life is accepting someone who's comfortable being where they are, right? Imagine taking a drug addict, right? That's in your family. You capture them. You take them to a rehab center. They're not ready to get off drugs. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna run away. And that's what you're seeing in life. When you're the person that see the vision, Tyler, you see it. You're the rehab center. You're trying to fix them, but they're not ready. So all they're gonna do is continue to run away. So again, you can't waste your time on trying to fix somebody that don't see your vision, that don't see the plan, that don't add value to it. Because a person that can't add value can only take away value. And while they're taking away value, they're taking away the time that you could be building. Because the family that's meant to be with you, they're gonna follow your lead. And you don't have to tell someone who you are. They will know who you are. Because believe it or not, in a room full of fakes, people can identify who's real in that room. When you go in a room full of fake people, positive energy will still find positive people. How can you go to an event and there's 1,000 people in the room, but you still find somebody that you exchange contact with Never been in this room before in your life. By the end of the night, your energy attracted someone that is just like you. Because the issue is, you just got to continue to be just like yourself. And don't force things to fit in a puzzle that's not meant to fit. The piece will only mess up the board. So when you keep trying to force a piece into a puzzle, all you eventually gonna do is mess up the board, right? Because what's meant to be will be. And no matter how you slice it, the family that you're building now will be the family that will carry your legacy to the next chapter. But a lot of times, I hate to say this, that a lot of us date our traumas. We engage our traumas. We marry our traumas. But we don't marry someone that can change our lives and help us weed out these problems. I got a homeboy, right? And I'm gonna go into a story. And he got married a couple of weeks back. The one thing I know for a fact is his father was never in his life, nor was mine. The one thing I'm guaranteeing about him, he's gonna be the father to his child that he wish he had. And that's the one thing I love about him, that he's about to break a hell of a lot of generational curse. Because when you realize and identify what bothered you, and you see what you wanna do for the next generation, Kenzie, you may be the one. And that's what you have to realize. The one is the person that comes to change everything. The one is the one that said, I'm not gonna do drugs when my family was. Caller, what's going on, caller? Caller.
Hello?
What's going on?
Yes.
Caller.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what's going on? You gotta mute me on from the audio in the background.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
Q?
Yeah, I hear you. What's going on?
What's going on, brother?
How you feeling?
So, I'm doing phenomenal, brother. How you doing?
I love it. I'm the same like you, my brother.
So, I don't know if you can make out the voice, but it's words.
Say it again?
It's words.
What's good, my guy?
What's going on, baby?
Bless, brother. Bless,
All
bro.
right, so look. So, I the whole thing, man. And I wanted to call in and just chime in real quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Blood is not thick, and here's the reason why.
Okay.
My personal experience and walk of life and this mission and journey that God has ordained for me to be on, I've garnered more support, more knowledge, more wisdom from people who not only are not the same blood as me, but that don't even look like me. Right? And even as yourself, Q, I've been blessed to know you. You schooled me so much. And a major gem you gave me a few years back, I don't know if you remember, but the young lady that I was dealing with, you pulled me off to the side and told me, brother, this not the one. And it took a real man and a real brother and a real mentor to foreshadow what this young lady was about to do to my life. You know what I mean? And we don't share the same blood. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I just want to call it and chime in on that. You're absolutely right. Blood is not thicker than water.
Let me say this to you, though. The one thing I've learned about life is when you genuinely love someone and you love yourself, you want the same level of happiness for everyone that comes in contact with you as you want for yourself. So when I looked at myself through you, the love I have for you, I said, there's no way I could want him to be the happiest version and the best version of himself when I know this is not the best thing for him. So therefore, I'm gonna say it,
Right.
even though it's gonna make you uncomfortable. But I'm like, I'm gonna say it because one thing about me, I love hard. I love wholeheartedly, right? I'm unconditional with my love, right? So I said, if I love this guy, I think being true to this person is always being honest. And that's why I felt like I owed it to you to do that.
Yo, and thank God you did. Thank God you did, man.
That's good.
I've been on a whole different trajectory ever since I parted ways with her, and I've just been getting to it. But per usual, you're always giving the people the gems in the game, man. You really do.
I appreciate you, my guy.
Yes, sir.
That's a young man I know very well. Give it up for him. People don't know how good it feels to see someone that has great potential start fulfilling their purpose. You know how good it feels to hear someone finding the best version of themselves and start seeing themselves as what they envision themselves as. But I'm gonna tell you something. A body with a cold cannot behave at its best. And some people are the colds that's making you sicken to the point where you're not allowed to be the best version of yourself. There are people who may come in your life to distract you from your goals, your trajectory, your results. But I'm gonna tell you something. The one thing about life is even if you fall today, the strongest person is the person that will get back up the same damn day. Some people have fell down so long, but they're scared to get back up, right? Some people are subconsciously scared of what the world is gonna think of them. But I'm gonna tell you something, people that genuinely love you, and I hope y'all all hear this good, people that love you genuinely already accepted you for you, right? I was at my boy's wedding party the other day. You know what everybody said? He's goofy, he's annoying. But one thing I love about it, the consistency of who he is, it shows the true representation of him as a man. When we say annoying, it's not a bad annoying. We saying that's who you are. And we love the consistency of you. And the one thing about that young man is he will give the shirt off his back and stand in the cold to make sure someone else is warm. Let me say that again. It takes a special individual to take a shirt off your back and you're already cold and willing to endure the pain of the cold so someone else is warm. It takes a special individual to do that. So when you look at some people, they may not be my blood, but they definitely my family. And that's what people don't understand. When you're progressing and you're climbing and you're building, the world will challenge you the most. But you gotta find your true family because your true family gonna stand there and fight with you. They ain't gonna run when things get rocky. They ain't gonna switch up on you when things are not going the way you want. And they damn sure not gonna question who you are as a person. They already know who you are. When you feel like you gotta constantly prove yourself to people, it's because they don't know who you are. They already made up their mind to who you are. But when you stay around people that know who you are, you don't gotta tell them who you are. They already know. I'm gonna get one more person to call in before we get out of here today. 516-253-1150. Give me one more call in, guys. 516-253-1150. So sometimes we say, is that term blood thicker than water? I think you gotta build your family and learn that everyone is not family because y'all blood. Y'all related. Y'all related. Y'all related. A man can create you, but another man can come along and raise you. That's how you know what family is. A man can create you, but another man can come along and raise you. But the man that created you could have left you. But another man came along and helped what? Raise you. Because you know what that new man that came along and saw? He saw the king in you. He saw the king in you. Something that the coward that we call dad sometimes couldn't see. And it's the reality. Because it's not about who make you. It's about who will raise you. Because it don't take a man to make a child. It takes a man to raise a child. It don't take a woman to make a child. It take a woman to raise a child. So we got to understand this term family and learn why you're sitting here in this world right now, right? You're building your family. Someone said post a number. 516-253-1150. One more time. 516-253-1150. The number should be coming up right now, guys. Somebody posted it? Yeah, go to the number right there. I'm gonna pin it. Someone call in right now. Let's have some fun today before we get out of here. I want to see what y'all got out of this message today. I know somebody got something to get off their chest. Let's get off your chest. All right? I realize that life is going to happen whether we like it or not. But sometimes it's not happening to us. It's happening for us. Right? Look at this caller right now. Caller, what's going on, caller?
Hey, this is Rose.
How you doing, Rose?
When it comes to family, it's family. It's the way that we handle things these days. Like these days, we done made life so complicated. You know, you can't pick who your parents are, but you can pick your family. You know what I'm saying? You can choose that. God didn't say well, let's put it like this. And Jeremiah talked about how he already know who we are. He already know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
He already know what's going on. He know who we gonna end up with. He knows our lessons in life.
Mm-hmm.
He knows the places we need to grow at and eventually where we be at. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just...
Phone hung up. Call right back, Rose. Call back, Rose. Sorry about that. Rose? Rose, go ahead, Rose. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I lost service. I'm on the way to work, you guys.
Okay.
But tuning in, when we talk about family, we created an atmosphere that fits social media. You get what I'm saying? Like, we don't go by the Bible anymore. We don't go by what it should be. You know, the love is not there. And until they bring the love back, we're not going to have family like we should.
100%.
You know, that's why God creates prophets and leaders and people to speak up in regards to this, because he already knew what was going to happen.
100%. But you know what it is, though? When we're all under attack right now, some people are letting the devil win. And they don't realize that he's winning. He's winning. You know, he makes us men hate our sisters and these women. He makes us hate y'all. He makes the women hate us. He makes us not appreciate the smaller things in life. That's the devil. He'll make you feel like you're not even enough, you know?
Exactly. And you know what? God uses people to talk back. You know what I'm saying? But the devil also uses people because we have to interact with each other. You know, we ain't talking to the trees. We got to talk to each other.
Yes.
So he know how to move.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. Got to pray. Stay prayed up.
Stay prayed
Pick
up,
your
my
partner.
sister.
Like think about it before you go and marry somebody. I'm going to tell you, because you could change your whole life if you just would have picked somebody else, you know?
100% facts. My sister, I love you so much. Let's give it up for
Love you too, man.
Let's give it up for We're going to call back that one more person real fast. Then we're going to call it. We like to get the callers back. Someone just called. Then we're going to give them a call back real fast. Guys, the world...
Hello, good evening. Who's speaking, please?
Caller, what's going on?
Hello, good evening, sir.
How you doing? This
Thank
is
you
Q.
for preaching the truth.
I appreciate you, my sister.
I appreciate you, sir.
You just made my
You're
day.
very motivating.
Thank you so much.
And I'm very nervous because I stutter. I talk too much. That's why I just listen. But I just want to thank you for all the great things that you are preaching. I'm not yelling, FYI, this is how I talk.
Nah, listen.
Naturally.
Listen,
Yeah.
I love you
Thank
for
you
even
so
calling
much.
me. Thank you so much, my sister. I love you and I appreciate you.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you
and
so
thank you
much.
for motivating me and
Thank you so
others.
much. Thank you so much,
God
my
bless
sister.
you.
God bless you too.
Thank you for preaching the truth.
Caller, what's going on, caller?
I appreciate you, sir. Hello?
How you doing, caller?
You're very...
Caller. Hello? Caller, what's going on, caller?
It's all right now.
Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on?
This Gene, I was calling because, you know,
blood ain't thicker than water, because my whole people that I deal with every day is nowhere near family. Nowhere near blood at all. And they the ones who help support me the most.
Wow. Wow. But you get to create your family. You get to create it.
Yeah,
You
can. Like my godmother, she poured into me so much ever since my grandmother died, and we're nowhere near blood, but she poured. We talk every day, and she give me everything she got as if I was her own blood son.
You know what it is though. When God give us things, He give us what we need, but we too busy fighting for what we want. And a lot of times we fighting for our family that we want, but He's giving us family because that's what we need. And your godmother is a woman you need, and He's giving you her because He know you need it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I definitely tell her, give her all my appreciation.
Wow. My brother, I love you, and I appreciate you. To God we give the glory. You know what I'm saying? And let's just keep striving for our greater versions of ourselves, man, and becoming greater every single day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you more, brother. To God I give all the glory. I want y'all to know, listen, let's create our families. Let's build. And let's learn from the mistakes of the generation before us so the next generation don't suffer for the decisions of what they made yesterday. Let's grow. Let's elevate. And let's stop being scared to fail. Because when you fail, you actually fail forward. We don't fail backwards because we learn from every L, right? And there's 2 W's. In a W, there's victory, and we got to win twice. Sometimes when you think you're losing, is reality is you winning. And the reason why I say you winning is because you ain't quit. And that's what a lot of people have to understand. You didn't quit. A lot of people look like they're winning because they comfortable in the same space. But with elevation, it comes uncomfortableness. With elevation comes you coming out of your insecurities. With elevation comes you sacrificing for the tomorrows that you don't even know may not even exist. You know how great you have to be when you saving for your future self, when you don't even know if you're going to make it? But therefore you know you're going to make it because you believe you are. Love yourself. Let's pour into each other. Let's elevate each other. Let's stop fighting with our brothers and sisters. I'm going to ask you a question before we get out of here today. If God is your father and God is my father, that make us spiritually related, right? If God is your father and God is my father, that makes us spiritually related, right? What father would ever bless either one of us if we keep fighting against each other? Till next time, guys, don't let that go over your head.